My name is Shannon Ring. This is my fifth and last speech, and it's about happiness. Three men are standing around a vat of vinegar. Each has dipped his finger into the vinegar and has tasted it. The expression on each man's face shows his individual reaction. Since the concept of this idea is allegorical, we are going to understand that these are no ordinary vinegar tasters, but are instead representatives of the three teachings of China, and that the vinegar they are sampling represents the essence of life. The first has a sour look on his face. The second wears a bitter expression, but the third man is smiling. To the first, life seems rather sour. He believed that the present was out of step with the past, and that the government of man on earth was out of harmony with the way of heaven, the government of the universe. He was unhappy. The second figure, life on earth was bitter, filled with attachments and desires that led to suffering. The world was seen as a setter of traps, a generator of illusions, a revolving wheel of pain of all creatures. The second man was unhappy. The third thought that harmony naturally existed between heaven and earth from the very beginning and could be found by anyone at any time. He thought that the more man interfered with the natural balance produced and governed by the universal laws, the further away the harmony retreated into the distance. The more forcing, the more trouble. Whether heavy or light, wet or dry, fast or slow, everything had its own nature already within it, which could not be violated without causing difficulties. When abstract and arbitrary rules were imposed from the outside, struggle was inevitable. Only then did life become sour. In response to the story of the three vinegar tasters, I dedicate this speech to happiness. Happiness is something that can be very difficult or easy to come by, but very few people take time out of their day to enjoy the simple pleasure. With this being said, we all need to take time out of our day for happiness. We undervalue the importance of it, although it's a simple idea, concept, and feeling, and the best part about it is that it's free. It seems difficult to understand that the only time we recognize or appreciate this idea of being happy is when there are national holidays that bring attention to the concept. Christmas, Valentine's Day, and more recently, Mother's and Father's Day are prime examples. Being happy is something that we should pay attention to every day, not just particular days. The concept should not be considered an art, but a pure and simple ability. We also need to start taking time out of our day to appreciate who we are and what we have. This alone will bring some amount of happiness into our lives. Once we habituate this idea into a constant and routine practice, we will begin to feel better emotionally, mentally, and undoubtedly physically as well. The constant practice of deep breathing will inspire reflection into our own lives, and we can appreciate what we have, understand where we are going, and ultimately how we can establish ourselves within the means of being happy. With the upcoming holidays on our doorstep, it is important to remember that we need to begin to take part in appreciating our own happiness, and will undoubtedly help better appreciate others as a result. After all, we tend to forget that happiness doesn't come as a result of getting something we don't have, but rather of recognizing and appreciating what we do have. Thank you.
I'd like to thank my son, Shane, my wife, Pam, my brother, Pete, for showing up, and I'm Terry, the cameraman, Shannon's father. Bye.
More money into healthcare.